It was a full version of Amazing Grace with the vocals and everything. Felix sang with the track. The words, he actually knew anyway, but he was off pitch and out of key and just, yeah, it was bad. Hello friends and welcome back to ReddX, your source for the freshest daily cringe content anywhere on the internet. Promise swearsies, it's just a fact and it's totally science. Go ahead, look it up. Thanks so much. Or, don't look it up. I can't tell you how to live your life. Either way, we're back at School of Beards today. Freshly posted, there's gonna be a talent show. Oh, you're gonna love it. So let's not delay any longer. We'll jump on into things. School of Beards, chapter 31. Standard High's Got Talent. I mean, yeah, probably a minuscule fraction of them actually do have some sort of talent. That's just how humanity works. Me at the talent show is like I go up there, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna fold my tongue up like a taco. See? Wasn't that cool? Please clap. Hello once again, ReddX Industries, and hello to you as well. Before we jump into today's tales, let me say a few things. 1, Red, sorry my last intro tripped you out. I wasn't trying to prepare you for anything. I just sometimes feel like people only see the worst of my life, and I felt the need to clarify that I do love my life and my career. I didn't question that part. The fact that you continue on down the path tells me all that I need to know. It's easy to tell someone who's surrounded by beards, why don't you just quit? The answer is because I love my job, and this is only a small part of my life. That's all. Didn't mean to trip you out. Everything's cool, man. I really was like getting in my own head about it. I'm always trying to read between the lines, but yeah, sometimes people just say exactly what they mean. And that does trip me out. 2, I have no issue with Christianity at all. I have an issue with people of any faith that try to shove their faith down people's throats or otherwise weaponize it to create an us versus them mentality. For the record, I'm the one who encouraged Wee One to go to the Christian uni that she is going to be attending. Yeah, I'm not a big proponent of us versus them, because the true struggle is always going to be us versus us. Everybody could do with a little bit of Jesus in their lives, that's true. However, if you offer and they politely decline, then okay, the issue's done. I will not share that part of myself with you any longer. Third thing, I'm the teacher that the other GSA sponsors in the district hate because I flat out refuse to put up a pride flag in my room because it divides students. So yeah, it's every sort of religion/political symbol. I mean, I would put up a pride flag, but I'd have to put up a straight flag alongside it. And then we have to include flags for all the world, and then our entire room is covered in nothing but flags! Don't you see? The slope is so slippery! Cracking myself up. Okay. 4, Felix, in my mind, is a religious version of Elliot. It's not that he is religious, it's the way that he tries to use his religion and push it on people alongside the other crazy things that he does. Dude, Elliot was not adept enough to navigate basically anything. Like, the fact that Felix is functioning, that's already leagues ahead of Elliot. I mean, he's not functioning very well, but he's somewhat functioning. I don't know. The way he acts towards women is definitely creepy. He's one of the most hypocritical Christians that I've ever met, but those are a dime a dozen these days. Anyway, yes, I have some religious trauma in my past, as does Beetle. I have also seen some Christians do some really amazing, beautiful things. I come from a Christian family. Every group has its extremists, so should I stop referring to Felix as Christian and maybe just call him evangelical? Would that kind of clarification help people understand that I do see a difference? No, make him Muslim. for great justice. People will have a lot harder time coming at that. I'll just say that right now. But yes, indeed, every group does have its extremists. It's not really great. Okay, sorry. I know that was a lot. I really don't like my integrity being attacked. I pride myself on being as neutral as humanly possible in my professional capacity. I'm anything but neutral at home, but there's a vast difference there. Yeah, you get to be yourself at home. That's the most wonderful thing of all. That's why I get so loose and free with it until I say the wrong thing and people are like, man! I'm like, okay, well, I'm going for the joke more than like the truthiness aspect most of the time. I try to say things I can defend most of the time, but sometimes I'm just like, I don't know. I think this will really get somebody's goat. Anyway, OP continues. It also annoys me that it's impossible to criticize someone being extreme in any way if it relates to religion or politics. If Felix had been Jewish and I called him out, well, that would have been anti-Semitic. Uh-oh. But you do have to admit that Christians are the most easily attacked group. You do have to admit that, don't you? That's when the atheists step in. They're like, actually, we've been persecuted for centuries. Yes. Everybody gather around for the Oppression Olympics. All of that stuff really is hell, which is why I tend to stay away from it. There is no winning, so just don't give a fuck and do your own thing. And if somebody gets mad, then you tell them, guess what? You have the right to be mad. That's fine. I'm still gonna continue doing the thing. OP's examples continue. If he'd been pushing gender ideology and I criticized, well, that would have been transphobic. If he had been pushing the Second Amendment and I called that out, would I have been called a communist? Yeah, probably. You come take this gun from my cold dead fingers. For real, people, can we not criticize someone being extreme without being called out for hating everything related to said topic? I mean, yes, between individuals, you definitely can. We could have a deep and nuanced conversation about it if you'd like. But the truth is, broad strokes get the fence paid a whole lot faster. It's a lot easier for a human to process another human as like, you fit into this box, you fit into this box. That's why that's so popular. Unfortunately, that's been leaned a bit too far into, and now I think there are far too many boxes. Nobody really agrees with anybody else 100%, and I think that's wonderful. Anywho, OP says, I just happen to live in an area that's mostly Christian, so it's generally Christians that I have these run-ins with. Sorry, this whole politically correct crap and inability to just call out the worst of a group without being accused of hating the whole group annoys the piss out of me. I mean, like I said, it's just easier for humans to sort. But you do have to admit that Christians are the most easily attacked group. You do have to admit that much, don't you? And OP almost forgot the last point, number 6. Yes, the ADL has issues. Not a fan, but no place for hate is a nice concept and worth spreading that core message to students. Honestly, the ADL doesn't do a whole lot with each individual chapter. So, you're saying it is okay to be white? Oh, man. No, you're right, though. I wouldn't want to shut it down. I don't want to be eyeballed by the ADL. Thanks so much. Now then. This started as a normal story with vignettes, but as the talent show stuff progressed and more happened, I realized that I needed to make it its own thing or it would be too long for Reddit, so I moved the other stories to the next chapter. With that established, let's begin. Oh, we're getting a double dose this week of something. I'm so glad I just happened to introduce Felix in the last story. It saves me from all the backstory about him in this one. And he is absolutely in this one. Now, peasants, stand back and watch as I crucify myself live on stage. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I do want to see that happen. After 2 days of him hanging up there suffocating, everybody's just like, Jesus, can't we cut him down? So school was over for the day. Beetle, Wee One, and I packed up and headed downstairs to leave. I noticed a flyer in the stairwell that caught my attention and stopped. Huh? Talent show? What's this, auditions? Teachers, welcome! I read aloud. Bloody hell. Yes, I am so in. Oh, what's your talent, OP? Some talents don't translate well to the stage. Like if I went up on stage and read a story in funny voices, people would be like, boo! You spent 10 minutes on the intro bit. Get off stage! I'm trying my best, you guys, okay? I'm sorry. Bro, I'm really on one today. Okay. Beetle laughed. Oh, you're adorable. So yeah, we're in. I looked at him. You're doing a duet, right? He asked. Oh, sure. But I'm going to audition as a solo act too. I said. Beetle smirked. Me too. Weeaboo looked at us. Well, if my parents are auditioning, then I kinda have to too. And it's a family affair. They're gonna start up the family band. And they just take up the whole middle of the show. So it's like 9 acts or so. That's just OP or Beetle or Weeaboo included. Okay, guys, we're gonna have an intermission from the talent show, and when we come back, we'll continue. Are you singers? You're singing, aren't you? This what with the duet and all? All right. Hit me with 9 different versions of Smash Mouth's All-Star, and we'll be ready to go. With that, we went home, signed up for auditions, and began to practice, with no idea of the horrors, cringe, and lip biting that awaited us. Like that sensual lip biting or the uncomfortable lip? It's probably the uncomfortable lip biting. This displeases me, but I can't muster a full frown. The day of auditions rolled around, and we were all ready. Beetle and I were singing a song called Gasoline and Matches by LeAnn Rimes and Rob Thomas. Starring Meta Matches and Gus Gasoline. And Jeff Beck as the man on the moon. Never heard the song, but I listened just now. It's pretty catchy, honestly. LeAnn got that, like, twang in her voice. Could you do that, OP? Baby, 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 baby. I guess it happens in basically all somewhat country music. Like, I listened to some South African country, and yeah, they had the twang. The guitar had the twang. Everybody's twanging out. You just lean right into it. Anyway, Beetle was playing his guitar for his solo act and singing All Right Now by Free. Dude, hell yeah. All right now, baby, it's all right now. And OP was singing Dreams by the Cranberries. Really, honestly, guys, just some impeccable music taste going on here. Not a hint of sarcasm. These are exactly the things that I like. I would have come back after the intermission. I'm telling you. Weeaboo decided to play Blackbird by the Beatles on her guitar. Nice. We were all psyched. We walked into the auditorium for auditions and heard an all too familiar voice. Hi, Miss Abby. And Mr. Beetle, Felix said. Oh boy. Weeaboo looked at me. I forced a smile. Hi, Felix. We got our numbers for auditions, and I led Weeaboo to the other side of the auditorium. We were sitting there, waiting for auditions to begin, when I saw Beard walk in with Beard only just behind him. Oh, come on, OP. How loosely are we using the term talent here? You tell me what Beard or Beard is capable of. They're gonna sing All-Star by Smash Mouth. I'm not lying, okay, when I say that the 6th grade talent show, I so vividly remember, not who was in it, but just the fact that All-Star was picked by basically everybody, and they did their little dance to it. And even in 6th grade, I'm like uncomfortable and want to leave. I'm just like, this is weird, bro. It's a good song. I don't like it enough to sit there and listen to it 15 times. Bloody hell, I think he's gonna diva dance, Beetle whispered, very excited. Yeah, somebody get Beard a chair. He's gonna flash dance on us. Somebody throw a bucket of water on him, like in the fucking Tina Turner. Who cares? We talk about ReddX and what Tina Turner was. Yeah, it's fine. All women in the 80s look the same to me. I wouldn't even know which one was my own mother. That's why I can't time travel. God damn it. Oh, look at you. Are you excited for your bestie? I asked. Ever since Red started teasing about Manny being Beetle's bestie, I haven't let it die. I mean, maybe just, the only step left for Beetle is to lean in. Maybe coach Manny up on how to be a human being. They'll still be both, like, super non-confrontational together, but it's fine! Beetle says, no, I'm excited about the cringe that is about to ensue. Wanker. Not wise to call your wife a wanker, I advised, with an eyebrow raised. Sorry, I didn't mean it, he said quickly. I could never. I always double down in those situations. Like, you don't want to get called a wanker, don't act like a wanker, you know? Soon after, the auditions began. Most of them weren't noteworthy. Some were really good, some were not as much. And then we got to Felix. Okay, let me paint a picture. We're in a school auditorium. The judges, senior class representatives, had a table and chairs set up with their backs to the audience. They had laptops to take notes, and they had a laptop connected to the auditorium speakers to play the backing tracks, which was mostly just Smash Mouth All-Star for some reason. This meant those of us in the audience could see the auditions, but only if we looked past the judges blocking the view. Look, okay, call me a purist if you must, but don't use the laptop to take your notes, all right? You're taking away from the magic of the stage. You know how annoying it is when people pull their cell phone out in a movie theater? Well, it's that 3 times in front of you. And you can't say shit about it. So I'm gonna tell you right now, it's very distracting. It's very distracting. You might not think it detracts, but have you ever been to like a stage play? You really get sucked into the magic, don't you? Now imagine you're at a stage play with a laptop sitting in front of you. Get those fucking things out of here, I'm serious. I've never felt more strongly. Oh my god, was he serious about that? Yeah, most of it. Except the last part. Okay, so Felix's number gets called and he takes his laptop on stage. Oh, everybody's got a laptop. Look at me with my super cool laptop music. I'm glad some people here are playing a fucking instrument. It's just a guitar, but still, I'll take it. I think I hate talent shows. I think I've been deeply scarred by that 6th grade looping of Smash Mouth All-Star. All right, cool, good, great. Get up on stage, Felix. Show me what you're gonna do. I have it up on my laptop already, Felix said. One of the judges looked at him. Oh, okay. We have this laptop set up with the speaker already. But I have it ready, Felix said. Don't you want it to play through the speakers, Felix? This shouldn't have been news. He watched several people audition before him. The judge just nodded. Okay, fine. Whenever you're ready. We don't even have like a sound guy backstage. Come on. With that, Felix pressed play, and what came out was not a background track. It was not instrumental. It was not karaoke. It was a full version of Amazing Grace with the vocals and everything. Felix sang with the track. The words he actually knew anyway, but he was off pitch and out of key and just, yeah, it was bad. I mean, good for him and getting up and doing the thing, I suppose, but God, it was painful for the rest of us. Yeah, that kid sucks. Get him out of here!
Get him out of here! He's got AIDS!
ReddX brand Super AIDS! Catch the fun! Oh, God. And OP wants to clarify that no, I have no issue with his song choice. I actually love singing that song. It's beautiful. Not sure this was the place for it, but whatever. It was the performance, or lack thereof, that led to my spine-powdering cringe. I mean, did he practice for this at all? He's probably one of those kids that just, you know, things come easy to him. So he doesn't realize how much work it takes to learn the things that you actually want to do. He didn't put his time in. He thought God would come down and make it sound different in other people's ears. He was trying to save some souls. But he didn't make the cut. Oh well, this is like American Idol. The only episodes I even want to watch are the first ones where the bad people are.
Hallelujah.
I probably would have loved this audition. When he finished his audition, he went to sit back down and started playing a video game on his computer with the audio on. Wee One looked at him. Felix, can you get off your laptop during auditions? That is so rude. Felix glared at her. Yeah, Wee One. Sure. He muted his computer, but kept playing his games. What is the game? I am morbidly curious. A few more acts auditioned, then suddenly from the middle of the auditorium, a voice boomed. Who here knows Pokemon? Should I replace confusion with Zen Headbutt? Beard asked. Depends if it's a physical or special attacker. What the fuck are you doing? He was playing some handheld Pokemon game. I couldn't see what platform it was on, but it wasn't a phone or a Switch. It kind of looked like a DS, honestly, but I didn't get a great look at the device. Anyway, several kids went over to him and they started trying to help him pick the best moves for his Pokemon. Yes, not a distraction in any way. Wonderful. Quiet, please. We need the audition to continue, one of the judges finally said. And once it was quiet, auditions continued on. Manny was finally up. I got this, Manny said confidently as he took the stage. Dude, he is gonna flash dance. Is this where you wanted me to tell you about his performance? Oh, no. No, we're saving that for the actual show. I will tell you that Manny's performance was everything I hoped that it would be, and more. Good. He has to be the last act because bucket of water. Nobody wants to mop that up between acts. That's ridiculous. I guess the question really becomes whether we should do the last 3 acts in the order of the most gross to the least or the least gross to the most. We could put Poo Poo Pee Pee Boy out first, and then the Gallagher Kid, and then Manny can come and flash dance all the mess away into the gutters that surely exist on the side of the stage for some reason. Oh man. There's a lot of potential for the mind to run wild within this story, you know? There's also this one Ukrainian student who auditioned as an act. It appeared he was just standing there to the music playing, but then the one lyric of the song came on. Tequila, he said. Everyone cheered. That was his act. He just stood there and said, tequila, on cue. It was silly, but oddly entertaining. See? He knows what he's doing. I don't think Felix thought it was as entertaining, however, because after that first tequila was said, he packed up his stuff and rushed away, butt crack showing as his shorts were so low. Invest in a belt, kid. I turned away quickly. Some things teachers just do not need to see. In 8th grade, we had to make a video project, and during the end of the credit roll, in the bloopers, buried a good, 2 or 3 minutes deep. Nobody should ever be able to find it. I mooned the camera. And yes, my entire 8th grade class saw my full ass. The weird thing was, the teacher played it again to the next class that one of my group partners was in. It didn't set off any alarm bells at the time, but now I'm thinking back on it, I'm like, that is kind of weird. Anyway, finally, it was our turn. Wee One was up first. She stumbled a bit, but she did it, and she did it with the terrible cold, so I was proud of her. Next was the duet, and then my solo, and then Beatles solo. Dude, that is just a big chunk of the talent. Are they gonna break you guys up a little bit? Somebody's sitting in the back I think that's the same guy. He's been up for 3 acts. We were all more or less pleased with our auditions. And no, Beard didn't audition. I'm not sure why he was even there. To play Pokemon, bro. To trade up his Drowsy. And that's the main reason that I don't trust Beard. Would you trust a Drowsy? It eats children's dreams, bro. Did you even think about that? The next morning, we found out that we all made the cut. But you know who else did? Both Manny and Felix. How did Felix get in? The world may never know. I guess everyone got in. Yeah, that would have been my first guess. They don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. They're like, hey, you want to embarrass yourself? I mean, it's your funeral. So before the show day, there were 2 rehearsals, and rehearsal 1, absolutely hilarious. I was being held in the black box in the theater department. Felix had promptly laid down when he got there, so when they called him up first, he was asleep, and it took 2 people to wake him up. We really want to open the show with Felix. Gonna lose half the audience right at the start. But Felix did wake up.
What?
He snapped. Felix, you're up first, one of the students said. Felix stood up.
Oh, okay. Let me get my laptop.
Actually, dude, I gotta play it on my laptop. I have to make sure I have the track for the show, the student said.
Fine. Let's get a move on then,
Felix said, as he walked to the makeshift stage. He blinked.
My phone's gonna die. I need my laptop.
Hang on. And he went to get it. Dude, did we not consider this before we laid down for the nap? I'm pretty sure you don't even need your phone on stage, do you? The lyrics are on there? I don't understand. We're missing showtime. This is egregious. Okay, anything else you need? Kelly asked. She was the student in charge of the talent show, and I just decided she needed a name.
My charger. And a place to plug it,
Felix said. Kelly sighed. I'm not sure that we have that. Do you need all of this on show day?
Yes,
Felix said as he opened his laptop. Would printed lyrics work? Kelly asked. Felix scoffed.
I suppose.
Great. I'll print them for you next time, Kelly said.
Okay. Well, let's get this going,
Felix snapped. Dude, you're the one that's dragging ass right now. Swear to God, I can't work like this. You're cut. You're cut. Pack your shit and go home. I don't even know if Kelly has the power to do it, but good on her for taking the initiative. No, she didn't actually say any of that. Instead, Kelly turned on Felix's music. It was still a track with vocals, and Kelly cranked it up so the vocals on the track drowned out Felix. Even still, Felix's off-key singing was evident. After he finished, he went back to his chair and fell asleep. Okay, I guess that's one way to handle it. Manny was as pleased as a pig in mud to be in the theater department.
Oh, this is where I flourish,
Manny said as he went to take his turn. Practice was admittedly rough. Beetle and I both had some rough edges to clean up, but we had all of autumn break to do it. I hope that doesn't mean you're kicking the can down the road, because we need to get on top of it. We're going to be showing our whole ass to the school, quite literally in some cases, in my case specifically. By the time dress rehearsal came around, I felt pretty good about my performances. I had seen the program, Felix was opening the show, and my solo was the second act. I wasn't sure how I felt about that. What, are you kidding? Trust me, you'd much rather follow Felix than the conjoined Siamese twins that are doing gymnastics, okay? No, that's a tough act to follow. The dress rehearsal was 2 days before the show. Beetle was feeling crummy, so he ended up skipping it. Does he still get to go to a real show? Do we have the choice to skip it? I really wanted to hear the acoustics of the auditorium with a mic, so I went. When I got to the auditorium, I went in the side door and down a set of stairs. As I was going downstairs, I heard a voice.
Hi, Miss Abby,
Felix said. I looked around. I didn't see him. Then I looked down just in time to see him pop out of the understage storage area. Ew, what the hell's that? It's a creepy little goblin child.
Ew, I like them. I like goblins. Ah!
Oh, hi, Felix, I said. I was curious why he was under there, but I wasn't about to engage by actually asking. Yeah, what's the worst he could do? Get buried by a bunch of chairs and die?
Did you bring everything for today?
Felix asked. I wasn't sure what he meant by everything, but I didn't care that much either. Yeah, ready to go, I said as I went to sit down. Felix proceeded to come out from under the stage and get on the stage while the stage crew were trying to get the stage set up. Felix was trying to tell them what to do and give direction. At first, they ignored him, and then he was just flat out in the way. Get off my stage, Felix, Chris, the primary stage crew member said.
But I just...
Felix started. No! Get off my stage now! Go sit down! Chris said again. I like Chris laying it down so clearly. I don't know if he's a student or like an actual worker. He's probably a student. An actual worker might feel like they have to coddle the child. Now, you can't be up here, buddy, because you might get hurt, okay? Why don't you go have a seat over there and play on your little bing bong woohoo machine, all right? Felix opened his mouth to continue arguing, but Chris stopped him. Get off my stage! Get! Keep going! Go! Sit! Chris said, until he had gotten Felix into a chair, and then he got himself back to work. Yeah, we got a job to do. You are impeding everything. Felix loudly huffed, and then he started practicing his off-key singing, and then he turned his attention back to me. Oh, you're after me, Miss Abby, Felix said. Yeah, I know, I replied. He was about to say more when the Sparkles walked in. The Sparkles were our campus's flag corps. For those outside America, it's like dance, but with flags! It's exciting. Felix raised where his eyebrows should have been. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. Felix shaved his eyebrows as a birthday gift to himself. The Sparkles were opening up the show before the first act, who was Felix. Felix leered at them. Hey, Sparkles. I'm behind you. He seemingly thought that was clever. That's what you're gonna open? That's the worst pickup line I've ever heard. Hey, pretty lady, I'm behind you. Oh, shit. I turned my head so no one could see me roll my eyes. When I turned back, Felix was out of his seat and headed up on the stage stairs toward the Sparkles. Chris saw him. No! I said off my stage! Only the Sparkles should be up here! Sit down, Felix! Chris said. Felix glared, but obeyed. Indeed, obedience is quite important for a child of Christ, Felix. Why don't you sit down and play some pocket pool? Make some foul soup into this vial. 'Cause it's foul and vile. It was around this time that I became very happy that Manny was in the second act of the show because he wouldn't be doing his dress rehearsal until the next day. What do you want to bet Manny just dances around like Tina from Bob's Burgers? Like...
Baby girl was draped in Chanel, said she loved Tupac but hates some LL.
That's his whole act. Please clap. Finally, rehearsal started. We got backstage, and Felix immediately sat down with his laptop and started practicing again. It was clear the other students were getting annoyed at this point. I also had one of Beetle's sped students hovering around me, asking a million questions. Without Beetle there, she had latched onto me. She's a sweet kid, but, like, very autistic. I was trying to be patient with her and answer all of her questions, but I was not feeling super patient in that moment, and it was hard. Well, that's big of you to acknowledge that. It's probably the more difficult path. It's probably helping you to grow as a person. I would have taken the easy out and been like, I gotta go to the bathroom. You can't come in here. I gotta go. I'm having a big poo-poo. Find somebody else, for God's sake. It was around this time I found myself a place backstage to sit and started questioning all of my life choices. How had I ended up here? Why did I do this to myself? I don't recommend having an internal existential crisis around students while trying to act normal on the outside because it's not a good time. That's me. Every time I do a live stream, that's what's happening. Live stream, Sundays. 1 a.m. my time is probably Saturday noon, yours, Eastern, daylight savings, whatever. I'll try to schedule in advance for you, all right? In that moment, I flash back to my high school years and to Squirrelbeard. Not sure why he came to mind. Maybe because most of the times I've performed on stage were during that point in my life. Whatever the case, my mindset was not great. And if you want to figure out who Squirrelbeard is and why OP's mindset might not be great, I'm going to link that on the end card for you. Might be in the description. You could type in Squirrelbeard ReddX. But whatever the case, I hope you'll watch it after you watch this, okay? I tried to shake it all off and focus on the moment. As my attention shifted back to the present moment, I noticed that Felix was demanding the other students keep an eye on his laptop because he kept leaving the backstage area for reasons that I'm still unsure of. I picked up smoking, Miss Emmy. That's why I talk like this. Yeah, Jesus didn't say nothing about chain smoking, huh? Bless up, Narcotics Anonymous. God damn it. Can I take a bow? Felix asked. Yeah, sure, Kelly said. She was clearly over Felix by this point. The Sparkles did their opening number, and then it was Felix's turn. You're putting Felix on after a bunch of actually coordinated girls twirling flags? He's not capable of following that act. But I guess, yeah, bury him in the middle of a couple decent acts, hope people forget about it. Let's do this already, Felix grumbled as he walked out to the mic. To Kelly's credit, she did her best to make Felix look as good as she could. She had a music stand on stage with his lyrics, so it wasn't obvious that he was reading. He went out and wrapped one arm perfectly perpendicular behind his back and the other in front of his waist. He bowed at a perfect 90-degree angle and then started singing with his track. Get him a conductor's wand. I'd love that. That's my special talent. My talent is conducting a laptop. Do you not see the works that's gone into my swish, flick, swish? Look at the wrist movement. It's immaculate. As expected, Felix's off-key vocals over a set of vocals on a track sounded even worse on the big speaker system of the auditorium. The kids with me backstage were visibly cringing. Chris found it especially cringy and said, "I'm gonna go jump off a roof now! It would be less painful than this!" This is why I always carry around ReddX brand emergency ice picks to puncture my eardrum. Just set it over your ear hole, take the included hammer, and whammo! Never worry about hearing anything ever again. Now available at all Wallbogs. I turned and looked at Chris. I'm sorry, man, but this is really bad, Chris said. I shrugged. I couldn't exactly chastise him for being honest. When Felix finished, he literally dropped the mic on the stage and walked off. No bow at the end, just a mic drop. You know those things cost money, Felix! Little asshole. I went out and did my song and then left the stage. I really wanted to get Beetle home so he could rest. I went to tell Kelly I was taking off. You did great, Emmy, a voice said. I looked down and Beard was under the stage playing his Switch. Oh my god, was he doing something untoward with Felix under there last time? It doesn't seem like a place that both an adult man and a young boy should spend time together, playing Monster Rain under the porch. Look, I don't have legitimate proof, but the pieces are all falling into place. You're going down, Beard. I wanted to ask him why he was under the stage, but I felt like there was no real good answer, and I was in a hurry anyways. Yeah, thanks, mate, I said. I told Kelly I was leaving and headed out. Well, show day was, well, it was gonna be a trip. And boy, I was right about that. After school that day, Beetle, Wee One, and I went home to get ready for the show. We were back at school well before our 6 p.m. call time, which was nice. Beetle had wanted to do his makeup in the makeup room that we were all meeting in. Better lighting. And yeah, Beetle wore some makeup. I mean, every guy should on stage. If you don't know that already, your face is gonna get washed out by the stage lights. It was just some concealer, powder, eyeliner, which he definitely rocks, by the way. Anyway, we ended up being glad we got there early because once Felix showed up, it was an absolute shit show. Felix busted in the room. "I'm here," he announced. He was wearing a very wrinkled suit with a bow tie around his neck. Not around the shirt collar, around his neck. Yeah, close enough. It's fine. You're on stage. Nobody could tell. Everyone ignored Felix's announcement, so he continued. "Or should I be?" "Just chill. Everyone is just getting ready," Wee One said, annoyed. "Yeah, it's showtime. You don't want to mix the pot too much right now." I sighed as Neckbeard walked in the room, makeup case in tow. He sat down at the mirror next to Beetle. "Hey, Manny," I said. Manny looked at me. "Hi, Emmy. Hi, Beetle. Love your eyeliner." Beetle visibly cringed. Thanks, Manny. Looks like you have some makeup of your own." Manny nodded. "Oh yes, stage makeup is so important. I even wear it for auditions. You have to make the audience see you as who you are on stage, and for this number, that is so important. I absolutely love this performance, which is why I wanted to do it for the talent show, and..." I cut him off. "I can't wait. You better go get your makeup on. We're going out soon." He is gonna do a flash dance, isn't he? That's what I want to see more than anything. "Right," Manny nodded as he opened up his makeup case and got to work. It was around this time that Beetle and I made our escape to the back of the room where the lockers were. We thought that it might be safer there, and we were wrong. Just as we were sitting down on the bench in front of the lockers, Felix came over and sat right down with us. "Miss Emmy, you're after me," he said. I nodded. "Yes, Felix, I am." "I'm after the sparkles. They're so pretty." Oh. He said this in a way that made me really uncomfortable. Beetle, sensing my discomfort, spoke up. "So, you ready for the show, Felix?" Felix nodded. "I am." I was very thankful when Kelly called everyone over to go backstage. "Okay, it's almost showtime. Get excited, y'all! Act 2, you can either go sit in the crowd or stay here during Act 1. Act 1, you're gonna head backstage through the back door. Please don't use the side door. During intermission, you guys will change places," Kelly said. Felix started for the door. "I'm gonna go sit with my mom." "Felix, no, you're the first act after the sparkles. You need to be backstage," Kelly said. "No, I think I need to go sit with my mom," Felix said again. Kelly shook her head and started to look panicked. "Felix, no." "I have to go tell my mom at least," he said, and then he was gone before we could stop him. Well, that's one crappy act down. 14 more renditions of All Star and we'll be out of here. I sighed, ready to go on if he didn't make it back in time. Beetle and I headed backstage and got ready. Felix did end up meeting us back there, although he used the side door to get there and then continued to go in and out through the side door. What's the big deal about the side door? I mean, she asked you not to use it, but why? "Felix, stop," Beetle said. "Kelly specifically asked us not to use that door," I added. "Fine," Felix snapped. He grabbed a chair and sat down, annoyed. "Well, good. That makes all of us. Now shut the fuck up!" It was past time that we were supposed to have started, and the Sparkles were backstage getting ready. One of them put down a flag, and several were discussing flag placement with their coach. You guys realize this show started 15 minutes ago, right? You're supposed to be out there. We're supposed to be halfway through the first act. "Let me get that flag for you," Felix said as he jumped up to grab one of the flags that they had put down. "No," the coach said. "Please do not touch our equipment. That flag is where it needs to be." Felix was still reaching for the flag, though. He picked it up and handed it to one of the Sparkles, touching her hand in the process. She pulled away from him, took the flag, and put it back down where it was. Felix went and sat back down in a huff. "Oh, woman just don't appreciate a gentleman these days." "No, Felix, you're interrupting. You're always interrupting." "Could you possibly not interrupt at any point? Please, thank you." Finally, 20 minutes late, oh, Jesus, we started the show. Dude, that's ridiculous. I don't want to shit too much on a high school talent show, but like, that's the most basic thing in the world for any performance. Start on time! Although sometimes I start my streams a little bit late, so I get it, but it's not 20 minutes late. The Sparkles kicked it off, and then Felix was up next. He went on stage, lyrics in hand. He did not use the music stand from practice. And he spoke into the mic. "Cue the music," he demanded. Why? No one knows. The music started and yeah, he did the thing. And I will say that for all these kids, even the ones that weren't great or were cringe-inducing, well, they got on stage in front of their peers and they did indeed do the thing. Yeah, it's great. Maybe practice the thing next time first. I can't help but have some respect for that. Don't get me wrong. Felix's performance was absolutely terrible, but at least he did it. Then he came backstage and gave me the mic. It was my turn. You're gonna be fine. Anything's better than that. Beetle said Felix tried to leave the backstage area while I was on stage so he could find his mom, but Kelly told him to sit until intermission. Anyway, as for me, it wasn't my best performance ever, but it certainly wasn't my worst, and Dreams is a hard song to sing. Hell, any Cranberries song is. I'd wanted to do Zombie, but there's no way in hell I could do that justice. I was overall pretty pleased. Yeah, this is why I picked, like, mostly easy songs. Radiohead, Red Hot Chili Peppers, maybe a little Smashing Pumpkins. These are my go-tos. When I came off stage, I sat back down, and Felix walked over to where I was and stood with his back to me. But so close that it was like he was about to sit in my lap. It made me so uncomfortable. Just push him away with the ball of your foot. Say you need a little bit of space here, buddy. He stepped back closer, and I leaned into Beetle to put as much distance between myself and Felix as I could. Kelly saw this and asked Felix to go stand somewhere else, and for that, I was indeed grateful. Yeah, Kelly's on the ball. Is she a student? She's a student, right? She's not paid for this? Somebody needs to pay her for this. Why did I not tell Felix this myself? Well, I think fight, flight, or freeze kicked in, and for some reason, my mind chose froze. Never freeze, OP. Always fight, sometimes maybe flight. Never freeze. Anyway, Beetle and I did our duet, which was super fun, and then Beetle did his solo, which he fucking rocked, by the way. I stood backstage dancing, just so proud of my husband. Something about him playing his guitar is sexy as hell. Yeah, women are always into guitars, but I'm pretty sure the kazoo is where it's at. Did I say kazoo? I meant kazoo.
Hello, Dub.
Oh, sorry, I digress. I mean, you're allowed to find your spouse attractive. I'm allowed to razz him for not playing the trombone. Anyway, let's skip past intermission and go straight to Act 2. Beetle and I went to sit with my mom in the audience. We went backstage, and because the gods hate us, Felix sat with a group of blonde, popular girls right in front of us. Said blonde girls ensured that there was one empty seat between them and Felix. Smart girls. That's not even smart. They're running on instinct at this point. I need some degree of separation. I'm pretty sure he wants to chop me up in a bathtub. So by this point, you're probably wondering about Manny's performance. The truth is, I expected him to dance to some Taylor Swift song or something, but no. Manny decided to treat us all to the same number he did to audition for the Willy Wonka play. I mean, of course, it had gotten him the part of a squirrel. For those that don't recall, the song in question was All That Jazz from Chicago. Yes, he had his makeup and costume done to look like the character of Velma Kelly, which really just looked like someone had taken an AI and dressed it up to resemble some generic vaudeville dancer. When Manny took the stage and his music started, he became one with the stage. Or so he would have liked to have thought. I mean, maybe Manny could have become one with the stage if they'd closed those fucking laptops! Hey, judges! You ever hear of a pen and paper, huh? That's what I'm blaming all this on. What actually commenced was the most awkward yet confident display of Broadway performance that I have ever seen. He sang. He danced. He owned it. Was it good? No. It was a bit like watching Slender Man try to be sexually appealing. It was disturbing. It was weird, but it was all Manny, being his true, authentic self in all his awkward glory. You know, some people do find Slender Man appealing. You ever hear about the Tumblr sexy men? Somebody tried to say the ReddX character was one of them, and I was like, I disavow. Maybe one day we do a video on Tumblr sexy men. Would you like that? Comment section? Let me know. As for Manny, yeah, it's kind of sad. Nobody really has the heart to tell him that he's not that great. They're like, we'll just put him in as a squirrel. And he's like, yes, it's all because of my amazing performance. But really, it's just because, like, we didn't want you to feel bad. We wrote this part specifically for you. You don't have any lines. Just stand back there. When he finished, the audience was silent for a solid 3 to 4 seconds. And then applause erupted from one small corner of the auditorium. Considering some of the previous performances and the unwavering support of the crowd thus far, the pause before the applause began was a bit unnerving. But once it began, it spread through the auditorium, and he received a decent amount of clapping. Yes, hooray, a smattering of indifference. Can we go home now? I took off during the intermission, honestly. I'm like, I got one life to live. I can't listen to All-Star 7 more times. But I was in 6th grade. I didn't have a car. It scars me really deep. Do you understand? Manny stood there for a few seconds, soaking in the applause, before coming to the backstage area to hand off his mic to one of the stagehands. Wee1 later told me that when he went backstage, he simply declared, "Killed it!" before sashaying back to the makeup room, despite instructions to stay backstage until the show was over. Yes, I'll be in my trailer. You understand that this is a public space, right? He doesn't understand much of anything. After Manny, there were a few more acts before Wee1 took the stage. She got a bit of stage fright and her performance was a bit rough, but once again, she did the thing. Yeah, as long as you complete the performance, a little bump here and there is sort of to be expected. She had never gotten on stage and played her guitar and sang before, so I was proud of her. It is an experience. I remember the first time doing stand-up comedy, my stupid little paper filled with jokes. I'm so nervous that my hand's shaking so bad I can't even read it. Longest fucking 5 minutes of my life. But I came back next week and embarrassed myself again, and by the 4th or 5th time I was confident enough to actually not need a paper, to interact and do some audience work. I mean, it was an open mic, so most of the audience was comedians, and comedians are the hardest people to make laugh, man. But just stick to it. Do your whole 5 minutes. I don't care if I don't get a single fucking laugh. You're gonna sit here and listen. I digress. Anyway, during the other acts, Felix would cough way louder than anyone should. I understand coughing fits, but he was hacking with his mouth wide open and pushing the sound out. If for some reason he had to cough that way, he could have at least gone outside. He also did not cover his mouth, and Beetle leaned toward me to put more distance between himself and Felix. Felix would also call out to any pretty girl that was on stage, except for Wee1, and I did notice him glance back at us. Instead, he went into a coughing fit, which Wee1 claimed is what threw her off because she could hear it on stage. When our senior class president took the stage to sing, Felix shouted, "You're the man!" as loud as he could, while jumping up and down. The blonde girls he was sitting with would periodically look at him as if to ensure the distance between he and them stayed. Yeah, I don't need any of your silly tricks there, Felix. What is his mother doing this time? Just watching her son hack up a lung, mouth wide open, spraying his germs everywhere? Get that kid a glass of water, then dump it on his head. The final act was one of the Sparkles that entered a dance as a solo act. Once the show was over, Felix beelined for that girl. Wee1 noticed this and sighed. She felt a responsibility to save that poor girl. She told me that when she made it over to the lone Sparkle, Felix was telling her how sexy she was on stage and that her body moved so beautifully. Jesus. Go have a cold shower and a long prayer, you know? Wee1, thinking fast, said, "Felix, don't you need to go find your mom?" "Oh yeah," Felix said, as he scurried off. Gross little freak. The Sparkle turned to Wee1. "Thank you so much. I didn't want to be rude, but I didn't know how to respond to that." Yeah, most young girls don't. "Get away, you're pretty creepy" seems to work, but then you gotta suffer his nerd rage, and I don't know, that could be dangerous too. Good on Wee One for helping out. Wee One hugged the girl. No worries. You did great. And finally, the talent show was over. Wee One, Beetle, Mom, and I went to go get tacos and then went home for some well-deserved rest. Would I do it again next year? Yeah, it was fun. It was also just extremely cringy and frustrating sometimes. Hey, ain't that just like real life? So there you have it. The first Standard High talent show. I do hope it becomes an annual thing, truly. Thanks for going on this weird journey with me. Honestly, the whole talent show felt like a bit of a trip to Wonderland, and like I was Alice. I hope you enjoyed it. A lot happened, and I wanted to share the story, but not drag it out too much, so I hope I accomplished just that. Anyway, all that to say, thanks for reading. Subscribe to ReddX, subscribe to Emerald Cave, and stay tuned for the next chapter of School of Beards. It will be a mani-heavy chapter, which should please the people. Until next time! Yeah, I don't know why I feel the way that I do about talent shows, you know? It's probably because somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shit. Oh my god! Now they've got a hold of me! My soul is now competing for space with Elliot Rodger and the Smash Mouth lead singer. How's this gonna go? Probably not well, but tune in next time anyway. I hope you guys enjoyed the story. Like, hit all the buttons, you know. Check out the links in the description. Podcasts so important. Please leave a review if you listen to them regularly. Please. On the end card of this thing, I think I'm gonna link generic Neckbeard Stories playlist. You'll probably love it. It's gonna be great. Thank you guys, as always, for watching, hanging out. Always remember that you are loved, you are worthy. You definitely deserve it, and I shall see you in the next one. So until then, bye-bye. Go ahead, cut them open. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be